Hello and welcome! This is Mouse Gunner, and we're going to be doing a playthrough of River City Ransom, one of my favorite games from my childhood. And it's been quite a while, actually, since I have played. And we're going to go ahead and name our character here. We're going to name ourselves something a little bit different. There we go. And Asshole is going to be our name. And we're not going to be naming the second player. We're just going to be playing by ourselves. Now, if I remember correctly, there is a way to actually play as the blue character with first player, but we're just going to go ahead with the white shirt, blue pants. And we'll just go ahead with the normal default settings. And if you've never seen the plot of River City Ransom, here you go. So pretty much your girlfriend has been captured by Slick, who is the leader of a number of gangs at this high school. Alright, here we go. Now, it has been quite a while since I have played River City Ransom, so I'm going to be pretty rusty. I think it's been at least 6 years, if not more. Now, this is one of the exploits you can do with the AI. They, unfortunately, if you jump up on anything, they kind of forget about you. And you can take advantage of that at times. Alright, let's go get that. Oop, we missed the coin, unfortunately. So, because I'm rusty, I expect to get beat up on a little bit initially. Like I just hit the other guy in the back of the head with the chain. These guys like to throw weapons, and they usually spawn in with weapons. You don't want to let them get a running start on you too, because they will do more damage as well. You have to watch out for that. Of course, if they run into your blows, it does more damage to them. Now, the different gangs in the game are represented by the clothing they wear. I guess that guy's not coming back. Let's just take a look at our cache. I think the select button on this controller is kind of going. It has a tendency of not working sometimes. Alright, you want to be careful of edges of the map if you're familiar with very many beat-em-up games. So, as I said earlier, their AI kind of goes off when you jump up on anything, even if it's just a slight incline. Now, they will go after weapons, as this particular gang likes using weapons. They especially like throwing them at you. Like so. Ooh, he blocked it, though. Alright. Get this guy. We blocked the can there out of the air. That's one of the things I really like about this game, is just how advanced it was for being an NES-launched game. Now, it was launched at close to the end of the lifespan of the NES. That's one of my favorite things, that sometimes guys, when they fall down, they do not die. Ooh. As I said, they like to throw weapons at you. Alright, so because we've been going a little bit here, I just want to make sure the visuals are going okay for you guys. The sound and everything is looking fine. Alright, thanks for that. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a chain here. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're wondering why I was asking questions like that, is I'm also simultaneously recording this and streaming it at the same time. Okay, so we have a fair amount of cash. And we're a little bit beat up here. Now, to explain River City Ransom, if you're not very familiar with the game, this game has some notoriety amongst the retro gaming culture as being a fantastic game, and it definitely deserves that. Now, what this game does is it merges classic beat-em-up style games like Double Dragon and RPG elements. So if we go to the status screen here, this is all of the different stats that I have in their current level. Now, back in the day, when I played this game with my brother, we had a Game Genie, and we oftentimes would put in cheat codes. And one of the cheat codes you could do was to give you a buff in all of these stats starting out. So I think you went from starting at 15 for every stat to starting at 20. And I know that doesn't sound like that much of an increase, but considering how grindy this game can be to get the stats up even that far, I'll show you here in a bit how you get stats, but that's one thing we used to do. And I think there was also a code that we put in with the Game Genie that would give us starting cash as well. I think it was $100 maybe. You normally start with $20, but we would put in a code that allows us to have $100. So that's just some of the things that we used to do back in the day when we used to play this game a lot. Now, I haven't played this game for probably 6 or 7 years, and I haven't played it seriously for quite a long time. So I'm very rusty. The knowledge is there, the experience and skill, probably not so much, but we'll work on that. This is a very grindy game, and I'll get back into the groove of things the more and more I play it. In any case, let's go ahead and get some stats here. So one of the best places to go is the Sushi Bar. Now, I don't remember where you get particular stats, as the stats are linked to the food that you buy. You'll buy food. Now, the food's going to do a number of things. First, it's going to give you back health. So if you see over by my name there, Assel, you'll see that I have a few bars of health there. If you lose your health, you don't necessarily die, but once you have no health and they have knocked you to the ground, I think you die at that point. Now, in this game, if you die, you don't truly die. You will more or less respawn, but you will lose half of your money. So there's a consequence for dying, but it's pretty forgiving in that regard. And as I said, considering how grindy this game can be, losing half your money can be real bad. Like, if you've saved up $100 and you die, you're down to $50, and it takes quite a while to get that. I mean, I started with $20, and the thugs that I beat up there gave me $8.25. And if you're playing with 2 players, you're splitting that money between the 2 of you. But the game's easier when you're playing with 2 players because only 2 enemies can spawn on the screen at any given time because of the limitations of the NES. So the 2 of you can split those enemies up between you. Although there are certain gangs that will go after one of the characters specifically over the other, so sometimes it's hard to split the enemies up like that. But you can't do that when you're playing by yourself. They're going to double team you, so it's a little bit tougher. But if we go in here, these are the different sushi items that we can purchase, and obviously they go up in price. So if I were to buy the sea urchin here, it's going to give me a number of stats. So we eat the sea urchin, and we get 2 throw power. We get some willpower, and then stamina is our health. So as soon as I go on to the next part here, you see my life go up. There you go. And max power also increased. Now, the reason I come in here and I eat sushi is one of the best areas you can get stat increases as well as stamina, which is my health. Alright, so we're pretty much done there. We healed up. And this is pretty much the process of the game, is you beat up thugs, you get the money from them, and then you go into the different shops and you buy upgrades. Now, not every shop is a food shop. So we have a sushi bar here. Over here, we have, again, I'm rusty here, so I don't know what okay, so we have a bakery. So if I remember correctly how the bakery works, so if I were to buy a donut here, I don't think I necessarily eat it now. I just get it, and it goes into my inventory. So you see there, she handed me a bag. So that just goes right into my inventory, and this is something that I can eat in any time. So if I come out here, and I go into my belongings, you'll see that I have a donut. So that's one thing. Now, the donut's going to work just like any other food that you would eat. It'd give you some stamina and some other attributes. But that is more or less how it works. Now, if we come in here, I believe this is another restaurant. So it's just a cafe. And as you can see, the things aren't very expensive here. Coffee, tea, and so on is not very expensive. But the upgrades you get, both in stamina and the different stats, are not going to be anywhere near as good as we saw with more expensive sushi. And one of the last places we can go to in this particular mall area, and the mall areas are always neutral. You can't actually attack or do anything in this area, and you're safe from the different gangs. But one of the last stores we have here is the bookstore. Now, bookstores can have different things. This particular bookstore has martial arts books. Now, these are going to give me special abilities, and I'm actually not too sure how exactly I want to do this initial playthrough. Whether I'm going to go heavy on the martial arts books and pick up every martial art in the game, for instance, or instead go more the vanilla style of play and use absolutely no martial arts. There's actually advantages and disadvantages to both styles. For instance, if I pick up stone hands here, this makes my punching ability very powerful. More or less, when I press the button to punch, it's going to do rapid fire 3 punches, and that can take out some of the weaker enemies in a single button press. Whereas normally I'm going to have to punch an opponent several times to defeat them. So it can give you quite a bit of a benefit, but there are some things that you lose out on if you use the martial arts. It's going to replace my normal punch ability. Aggro Circus is even more unique because it replaces your normal run-jump ability, and it's actually one of the more comical martial arts that are in the game. Now, currently I can't afford any of these, but once I buy these and I use them in my belongings, it will permanently give me the ability of Acro Circus, Dragon Feet, Stone Hands, so on. And there are quite a lot of martial arts in this game, and getting them all can be quite an achievement in and of themselves. Now, when you come into any of these areas, you can have gangs spawn in, and usually they'll tell you down at the bottom there when we entered Sixville what gang you're going to be encountering. Now, in this particular instance, no gang appeared. Sometimes that happens. But when we come into the park here, we see the frat guys are back, the same gang that we've been fighting so far. Now, when you knock down an opponent, you can use them just like any other weapon, and you can either wield them as a weapon, or you can throw them, just as we can with any other weapon. You can either, whenever you have a weapon, you can either use that weapon to hit the opponent, or you can throw it. Now, the frat guys here, they like to throw weapons. Specifically, they also like to run and hit you, because that does more damage. So if I hit the B button there, I can throw the weapon. And if you get that running start, it does more damage, as I was saying, so that's why these guys like doing that. And each of the gangs have their own unique kind of style of fighting. The frat guys are actually one of the harder gangs to deal with for the initial areas. The two guys that usually you encounter in the starting areas are the generic dudes, which are one of the easiest gangs to fight. And the jocks are another gang you oftentimes encounter in the early area. Now, I love some of the levels here. Like, the park here is very intricate, and the different things you can jump up on. Now, as I said, the AI, unfortunately, will not respond very well to you if you jump up on anything, but that's the way it goes. Now, because we have something in our belongings, I'm going to go ahead and go to that, and we're just going to eat the donut and see how that differs from the sushi that I ate earlier. So, we're going to eat the donut. We get some willpower, and that's it. So we got no health for that. So donuts give you willpower, they don't give you health, they don't give you any other stat, and that is it. And that's kind of the learning process of playing River City Ransom, is learning what the different items do. Because you really don't get any indication unless you use it. So let's go ahead and go to our stats, though, just so we can get an update of what we have. So far, willpower is one of the stats that we have a decent amount in. The donut helped us quite a bit there, but the sushi gave us some as well. Now, the way willpower works is, and again, this is from my memory, so you forgive me if I'm not 100% on this, but it is one of the things that helps you if you have lost a lot of your health. It allows you to continue on. Stamina is another thing that, max power, I think, is, if we go back to the stats, I can actually talk about this. Max power is, I think, your health cap, so that's how much overall health you can have. So stamina is your actual health. And then max power is your health limit, which we can obviously expand. If you look over to the right there, you see that there's more punch kick. That would be the second player if the second player was playing. So these are the base stats over on the right, unmodified. So normally I would have max power of 63. And my stamina could go no higher than 63. Well, at max power 68, I could actually get up to 68, going beyond that initial starting. Most of the other things are pretty obvious. So punch is how much damage you'll do in punching, your punching ability. Kick is kicking. Weapon is how good you are using a weapon. Throwing is how good you are throwing objects, like weapons. Agility, defense, strength are different abilities. I think agility is more or less your foot speed. Defense is how well you can block things. So you might have been seeing me blocking punches and different things thrown at me so far. That's where defense comes in. Strength, I think, is just an overall damage ability, and then I already kind of discussed willpower. That's your ability to get back up after being beat up quite a bit, and it's a good thing to have, honestly. Okay, with that being said, let's go ahead and go back to the mall here. Now, this is where we encounter the gang. Now, previously there was no one here. This time they actually did spawn in. So every time I beat a guy up, they're going to pop out a coin there, and this is us taking advantage of the AI as we're jumped up on something. They'll pop out a coin that will give you a various amount of money. We can check our money here. Now, the generic dudes being one of the lower gangs. As a matter of fact, I can show you the income here. So if I beat one of these guys up and take the coin, you'll see that that amount goes up. So we got roughly 50 cents for killing that guy. And there you can see the kind of grindy nature of the game, trying to jump up here. Now, see there, I do kind of a combo. Kick, kick, high kick. I can't finish them off because they are too low to get hit by the high kick. All right. So this is a wooden stick. It's not as good as the chain, so I'm going to throw that aside. Now, honestly, the wooden stick's okay, but the chain has more reach, and I think it does a little bit more damage, but it might just be variable. And what gang you're facing also will change. Let me get my health back here after I get the money. Will change what weapons spawn in. So with the frat guys, we were seeing a lot of chains. With the generic dudes, we'll see a lot of the bats or the wooden sticks. It's just the nature of each gang and their different styles. I think we've gotten everybody. If you don't see anybody spawn back in, usually that's a good indicator that you have beat all of the gangsters on a particular screen. Alright, so we've gotten some more money. Let's go ahead and get some more sushi. So we've tried the sea urchin. Why don't we go with some cheaper sushi, because we don't have quite as much money. We'll just kind of go through this and we'll try and figure out what the different things do. So we'll have some egg here. And one of my favorite things about this game is the animation when you eat things. Yeah, that's great. And honestly, that's the same animation you get whether you're eating or drinking. So you'll literally take like soft drinks and just shove them in your mouth like that. It's kind of got a art style that blends that 8-bit look with the anime look of the time. This was originally a Japanese game that was ported over the United States. There were changes made for when it was ported over and turned into River City Ransom to make it westernized. And I think it's got some interesting charm as a result. Alright, so we ate the egg. We're going to get some punch ability, a little bit of stamina. Now, this is a cheaper sushi, so we're not getting quite as much as we did with the more expensive one. And we got max power maxed out. So we didn't get any max power, unlike the more expensive sushi. And max power, as we discussed, is a good thing. Let's go on to octopus. So punch up is good. That allows us to have more punching ability. So now octopus gives us weapon up. Now, I think we already got throw up, so that's a little bit more ability with weapons, but this time keeping them in our hands. Stamina isn't quite as good as it was in the egg, and max power again is maxed out, which means we don't get any. Alright, so let's go on to the squid here. You know what, actually, I'm not going to. I'm going to just exit. Because I don't want to actually get more stamina than I can take. This is also the grindy nature of the game, so more or less you're going to go back and forth, beat up the different gangsters until you're tough enough. Okay, so this is yet another gang. We've got the Jocks, which are, in my opinion, one of the easier gangs. You have generic dudes and these guys that you can fight in the starting area. I think the frat guys are a little bit more tough than those two gangs. Now, the original manual had all the gangs laid out, and they were pretty much done in order, I think, of toughness. And the AI tends to make a beeline for weapons because they're kind of programmed to do that. Weapons are quite good. Although, again, we could play a more just hand-to-hand combat style. You know, a lot of it is up to you. What do you want to do? You can go martial arts heavy and get the benefits of those, or you can go truly vanilla and only use your hands and feet and no martial arts. Another thing I love about this game is you can actually hit certain objects. Like, for instance, I can hit that with the chain, and that propels that. And if I hit an enemy with that, they would actually take damage. You can also jump on top of certain objects, so I can jump on top of the trash can. Now, of course, that has the same effect on the AI as jumping up on this ledge and preventing them from really thinking or moving. So there are some limitations because of the age of the game. And there go the frat guys doing their run punches that they love to do. Ooh, and the throwing of weapons that they also love to do. You have to be careful with a lot of elements of this game. If you throw an object, oftentimes it will hit something and ricochet. And if you get caught with the ricochet, you will take damage. So you have to be careful. You can be hit with your own weapon throws. There we go. Let's finish them off with our fists. Okay, so we got pretty beat up here. So we're probably going to want to go back to the mall and heal up. But I think I can take some generic dudes. So, ooh, there's a tire. And the tire you can jump on top of. I didn't want to attempt it because it is kind of risky. Ooh, I thought I was on top of the tire. I didn't think that they would be able to get me. So, like, watch. I'm on top of the trash can. They're still not responding to me. And now that I'm off the trash can, they'll respond. So if I got hit by that trash can as it bounced off that guy's head, that would actually damage me. Nope. Been a little... See, that time the guy did get hit by the tire. So the tire, as it was rolling, hit that guy in the back. You can also jump on top of the tires when they're in the guy's hand, which makes the eye behave very erratically when you do that. They just run around crazily. All right. I think that's... Oh, no, we got one more. That's one of my favorite parts of the game, is being able to pick up guys off the ground and use them as a weapon and swing them around like that. All right, so we're pretty beat up. Might as well come back and get some more sushi. Alright, so we're going to start with the cheaper sushi. So we did egg, octopus. Octopus was weapon. Egg was punch. Let's see what squid does. Okay, so we're going to get throw power, and 2 rather than 1. And stamina very low. And again, no max power. So now we're going to go on to eel. Okay, this time we get defense up, stamina up, fairly more than the others, but this costs more. And again, max power is maxed out. And let's do the last of the cheaper sushi, the prawn. And we get some strength up, and a lot of stamina up, and then max power is maxed out. Okay, so you can kind of see, you just have to work through, you got to figure out what gives you what stats if you want to improve certain aspects of your character. And by going through all these different sushis, we're actually making a more well-rounded character. Honestly, we got more weapon and throw ability than I would personally like, but we just have to find where the stats that we want are. And I didn't get anything that gave me kick ability. There's also rolls here from the sushi place. I mean, the amount of stuff you can get at some of these shops is just crazy. All right, so let's go grind out some more bad guys. So now we're fighting the jocks. And that's brass knuckles on the ground there, in case you couldn't figure out what that object was, just from its simple graphic from the era. All right, so they're going to try and double team me. And there, he's doing quite a bit of blocking of my punches there. Now, one thing that's interesting, though, is if you have a weapon, you cannot block. And there, he jumped out of my hands. If you hold somebody too long, they will jump out of your hands. They will recover and jump out of your hands. I also like that I hit that guy with the throw of the other guy. All right, finish that guy off. And you can do a lot of like trick moves too with this this game. Do running jump kicks and things, which take quite a bit of skill to hit. All right, so let's try and pull it off. There we go. I didn't manage to finish him off though because the jump kick sent me beyond him, so the uppercut didn't finish him. All right.